And before we get started, I'm going to start this video off with a necessary shout out to my old boss, AJ. For months, he was like, you need to watch the show Deadwood. Of anyone I know, if there's anyone who could appreciate the dialogue in this show, it is you. Watch it. So now I finally watched Deadwood. Raise your glasses to AJ, you beautiful bastard and your awesome soul. Deadwood. Now, you know me, if there's one thing I like me some good entertainment. I like good movies, I like good TV shows, I like good video games. Hell, I would like a good girlfriend if she could entertain me for at least 12 episodes a season, but that's yet to be found. So I stick to the superficial entertainment. So Deadwood was a series on HBO that ran for 3 seasons before getting canceled about a real town called Deadwood in South Dakota. In 1877, there was a big gold rush going on that brought a lot of people there. And what's interesting about the town of Deadwood is it wasn't under the United States. It didn't fly a United States flag. It was not part of the United States, so it didn't have any of that government meddling. And that's what I find really interesting. It's ultimately the most lawless town you've seen. Now, at first you're like, okay, Timothy Olyphant plays Seth Bullock. He's gonna be the main character, and he more or less is at first. Then you have Ian McShane playing Al Swearingen, and he's gonna be the villain, and he is at first. Or as Wu calls him, Swudgeon. Timothy Olyphant used to be a U.S. Marshal, and he's like, I'm leaving that behind. I'm going to Deadwood. I'm gonna open up a store with my friend, and we're just gonna live low. Out of sight, out of mind. Problem is, you can't be a former badge and then come to a place called Deadwood and just blend. Eventually you're gonna be like, all right, that was bullshit. I'm gonna go stick my nose in that because I feel like that was just unjust. Now you're on the radar of Al Swearingen, played by Ian McShane, and I'm telling you, I'm gonna really concentrate a lot on Ian McShane because he's really the point of the show. He carries the entire show for 3 seasons. He is the male ego without the mask necessary to survive in civilized society. Deadwood not being a civilized society, you just get the male ego in all its raw form, which is Ian McShane as Al Swearingen. Swudgeon! And it's awesome. His dialogue is some of the best dialogue you've ever heard in anything, delivered by a master of his craft. He steals the entire show, and yeah, at first he was the villain. Then Cy comes into town, played by Powers Booth. The guy's name is Powers. I'm not quite sure he ever knows he's being filmed. He comes into Deadwood, and he's a bigger dick than Ian McShane, so you're like, alright, the enemy of my enemy, and well, you're a bigger dick than Ian McShane, so I'm siding with him. And then more people start coming into town, bigger fish, and it's really about Al Swearingen, Ian McShane, surviving in that world. He's like, no, I run this town, you douchebags are not gonna take this away from me, or as he calls them, cunts. Which I found interesting. I have not heard the word cunt said so many times, and at a point you're like, it's really not a bad word. It has a flair to it. You don't really hear it these days. Why did it become such a bad word at a point? I have no idea. Deadwood uses it with style. I like that. I had a school teacher once who was like, I have heard every swear word on the face of the planet. I will give you a pink slip or a write-up or whatever the hell those things are, unless you can swear and impress me. If you can swear and impress me, I won't write you up because, hey, I like being impressed. Deadwood does that. It swears with style. Doesn't matter what word they use. However, if you end up gravitating towards Ian McShane's character and his dialogue, which I believe you will do, you might just see Deadwood as the most misogynistic show ever made. And if misogyny does offend you somehow, I might advise you to let Deadwood pass you by. Or hell, watch Deadwood and find out how much misogynistic dialogue actually intrigues you. Reality of the situation is, it is misogynistic. And most guys will probably like the dialogue. Don't hate us for it. Genetics says it's just what we like. There's probably a YouTube video out there with Al Swearingen's best lines. Look it up. Al Swearingen is the best written character with the best dialogue delivered in the best way I've ever seen in a television show. Now, as much as I keep praising Ian McShane in Deadwood, I do recognize that it's a collaborative effort with a myriad of different characters, and all of them are just great. The people of Deadwood are the lawless outcasts of civilized society. It's not pretty, but you can't deny that it is intriguing. Season 1, Ian McShane has your curiosity. Season 2, he has your attention. Season 3, he has your allegiance. Bummer is, the show gets canceled after season 3, and it wasn't like when they were writing the show Rome, and halfway through writing season 2, they were like, it's gonna get canceled, so we're gonna speed things up and wrap it up. It doesn't get its wrap up. It just leaves off with you thinking, alright, season 4 is gonna be badass. It's gone now. However, in it being a real town based on real people, you can go onto Wikipedia and find out what happens to Deadwood and the people in it, which that's really cool. If the good caretakers of Wikipedia have noticed a lot more traffic on their site, it's because there was once a show called Deadwood. Now there is not. If you require resolution with your TV shows, I would say you're going to leave Deadwood kind of irritated. However, if you love great dialogue and great writing, Deadwood, dude, Deadwood. I'm glad I watched it. The lack of resolution does leave a sour taste in my mouth, but you can't deny the flair that this show has. Especially if you're a Western fan. Why haven't you watched Deadwood already, like right now? Now, I'm in a bit of a Western mood. I'm playing Red Dead Redemption right now. I'll get you a review on that. I have myself a couple of Westerns I want to give reviews for. Keep in mind, not all Westerns take place on Earth. Just saying. But those reviews are coming, and they're coming pretty soon. So have you seen Deadwood? What did you think of it? What did you think of the character Al Swearingen? Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.